What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen this as I was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. Definitely. I'll tell you. You already know what I'm about to say. Insane. On the day of his funeral, speaking on Nolan Wills, a lot of y'all know who Nolan Wills is. If y'all don't, y'all can take, the split second, to look at the case. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that I got to explain today. Otherwise, I will tell y'all. Honestly, it's still an ongoing investigation. I can't really say exactly, because it's ongoing. I do have, obviously something that I'm thinking, but I don't want to be that person. This. Anyways, on the day of his funeral, though. His parents sent a notice to his friends and their families of intention to sue them. On top of that, moments after laying her son to rest, Nolan Wells' mother opened his estate to pursue potential claims surrounding his death. Nolan Wells' friends who have faced accusations were heartbroken to miss his funeral. However, due to death threats and out of respect for Nolan's family, they made the difficult decision to not attend. This was said by multiple friends that they didn't choose to attend because, obviously there were threats going on. And, they're making this a whole racial thing, that's going on with this. One thing that I've learned today is that I'm pretty sure this Nolan's stepdad, but within his mom is that I can definitely see now that everything is more so about, being Crump and following directions from them, which is truly sad. A lot of this is from Brandon Tatum, so y'all see me recognize him a lot. This last post as well as this post says, from Brandon Tatum, the internet accused Bart. This is Bart. In the Nolan Wells case, now he's fighting back on defamation lawsuit involving, says Kimberly. May change conversation about online accusations and justice. So y'all can go through here. He'll explain it more as I'm going through here, but I can just skim through, some stuff that is going on within this. Says former Ocean Spring football player and University of Wyoming punter Bart Edmiston Jr. has retained attorney Russ Latino and is preparing to pursue defamation claims over allegations that have spread across social media, if y'all don't know. According to his attorney, Bart has never been identified as a suspect by law enforcement. Latino says Bart voluntarily I'm sorry, y'all, cooperated with investigators by providing access to his boat, GPS information, phone, and any other information requested. As y'all know, a lot of these individuals are truly working with the police. I'm not even gonna lie. For them to say there's so many things making these false accusations and making their own stories, I'm not gonna lie. Bro, this stuff is so crazy. Y'all know how I tell y'all all the time that it's always something going on in Indianapolis. It says woman fatally shot right here. This is on the east side. I told y'all, literally every it's crazy. Prayers go out to the family and stuff. Truly, I just got the notification. So if you are in the area out east, I'm trying to see what area is this. Out east, Indianapolis, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Well, this is closer to I guess you can say Fountain Square area. Not too far from Fountain Square. Yeah. Definitely insane. I'll tell you that much. Definitely insane at what's going on, always. But back to this, says the attorney also says Bart recently reviewed what family considers a credible death threat, prompting notification of the FBI along with state and local law enforcement. Think about that. An investigation is still going. No criminal charges have been announced, yet people are already receiving death threats based on internet speculation. And I truly find it very sickening that they are doing this. Mind you, no criminal charges have been announced. Nothing to foul play, nothing. But people are making up their own things of what's going on, and it's definitely sickening on this. Now, I know y'all are asking who this Bart kid is, or young man, I should say. But supposedly this Bart individual If I can go back up here. This Bart individual supposedly was either dating or, talking to the same individual that Nolan was talking to. And they're trying to say that Bart felt some type of way about it. And, people are truly making up their own story. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I find it sickening and I find it crazy that they're doing everything they possibly can to push this whole narrative of somebody doing something to Nolan. And I find it crazy that they're doing this. I truly do. You have it right here in TMZ, even though that a lot of times I do not like what they say and the stuff they put out. Listen to this story here.
Two big developments on a legal front in the Nolan Wells case today. The first involves his mother, Christine Wells Wansley, filing to get social media information from all of Nolan's accounts. This is from Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Life360, Snapchat, and TikTok. She has subpoenaed all of those companies to hold all data related to Nolan's accounts. Also, she wants all the information for anyone who's ever communicated with Nolan on those platforms. She wants all of that material saved to make sure that those companies don't erase it from their, from their servers. And clearly, she is hoping that that information is going to be relevant at some point if there is a lawsuit she files, and also it could potentially help law enforcement if they find that there is foul play and there is more of an investigation to go here. Because, as you know, all those companies, yes, they save all this information from their people who use their platforms, but at some point, and it's different for every company, those things get erased after a certain amount of time. By serving this subpoena to them, she makes sure that it will be saved if it's needed in the future. So that could be very relevant in the near future. The other development has to do with one of Nolan's friends, a guy named Bart Edmiston. Bart Edmiston Jr.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, a lot of what people are talking about when it comes down to this, even though that, I obviously, trying my best to stay on top of this and do what's needed. I find it completely insane that people are just going with any and everything. I feel like so many people are going with so many different stories, that it's honestly like they're what's the word I'm looking for? Desperate. Very so much is just desperate. And it's sad that they're wanting, somebody to take the fall for it, or they're wanting it to be, I can't say the word, but y'all know what I'm saying, unaliving, and it's truly sad. Truly sad what they're doing.
Was the subject of a lot of online rumors where people were saying that that Bart might have been jealous of Nolan because the girl that all the friends have said Nolan was hanging out with on Horn Island on July 4th, Katie McCormack. There were people saying that Bart used to be in a relationship with Katie McCormack, and they pointed to an old Facebook photo saying, there it is. That's how you know Bart was jealous of Nolan, and they're insinuating that he had something to do with Nolan's death. Well, Bart has lawyered up, and his lawyer issued a statement saying, one, that photo of Bart and a girl is not Katie McCormack, and also he flatly denies having anything to do with Nolan Wells' death. And also, Bart.
How are they just gonna just say? Like, I find it crazy. Like, they go and say this, and then the next part he's gonna say, because I've actually seen something like this. They're saying that the girl that was in his photo is Katie. They're saying that that's Katie, and it's not, is what it said. So again, people are making up stories as much as possible to have somebody take the fall for this. They're literally just, at this point, they're all pointing fingers. The mom, Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, supporters, everybody just pointing fingers at everybody.
Wanted to make it clear that he has participated in the investigation. He went to police, said he sat with investigators, gave them his phone, allowed them to go through the phone, get whatever information they needed, and he told them everything that he saw happen on July 4th. Here's how Bart is connected to Nolan's friends. So you know that Nolan went out to Horn Island with a group of friends on their boat. And then that boat left the island, according to witnesses and according to GPS data, left the island at 4:30. Nolan, we're told by his friend Warren, Nolan did not get on that boat. But you know that that's the boat that had trouble. Their pump wasn't working, they were taking on water, and they were afraid they were going to sink. They made the call to the towing company, but ultimately the tow company did not come out because Bart Edmiston came by in his boat, saw his friends, and actually gave them a tow and allowed the water to get off their boat, and then they continued back to the mainland. So Bart says he not only spoke to investigators, but gave them the names of 20 people. He believes there were 20 people between his boat and the other boat with Nolan's friends who all saw this happen, that saw him give them a tow. And he's given all those names to investigators. So he wants to make it clear he had nothing to do with Nolan's death, and he is doing everything he can to help the investigation.
But I'm just saying, though, like, I feel like if you have somebody that's truly, like, doing everything they can within this investigation, that's working with you, talking to the police, talking to this individual, talking to that individual, why would people continue to think that this individual has something to do with what they got going on? I don't know. I find a lot of it weird. I find a lot of it, crazy that they're just adding each and every individual into this. Whoever they see next to Nolan, whoever they see taking a picture with him, they're saying and pointing the finger, oh, that's who did it. Oh, that's who did it. That's who did it. And I find it absolutely crazy that they're continue to do this. I'm telling y'all. Says right here, and this is Nolan Wells' family saying that Nolan Wells' stepfather or his mother supposedly don't know, I put, individual, I'm pretty sure. Here, I can go and show y'all exactly what I'm talking about so y'all can see. But let me go and see so I can make it make sense. I want to make it make sense, y'all. This individual, I put out a video of a biracial individual that, and he, he's in a blue shirt. It was about a couple days ago. This is who they're talking about within this video. They're saying that they don't know him. He wasn't friends with Nolan, any of that. Mind y'all, I put this video out of him saying that he's parked his car there. They've taken many pictures together. They've been best friends for a while. Check it out what they say, y'all.
Elmore, you heard that kid Trace in the interview say that he was friends with Nolan and that you guys would know him. Do you know him? Do you recognize him?
No, I don't.
Crazy.
Just because you park your vehicle in someone's yard doesn't mean that they have to know you. Sounds more to me like he's more focused on getting people to know him and getting away from the fact that his so-called best friend is not here anymore. Everyone that they may have interviewed are at home. Our son isn't. Our son should be in college right now. We should be receiving phone calls from him about how his day went, but we can't. And we just want everybody to focus on what the real subject matter is.
Understood.
And that is
Understood.
I don't know. I find it crazy because look, I told y'all from the get-go, within my best friend. I say it again for the people that didn't, hear me and the people that obviously don't really watch every video that I put out. I literally, and I say this is my third time saying it. Third time. I said it in 2 other videos. I have a best friend for years. Literally years. I'm 28 now. We talking about high school. my freshman, sophomore year in high school. I just met his mom a few weeks ago at his proposal. He would tell you, if it wasn't so late right now, I would literally call him. I would literally call him and be like, hey, bro, name the first time I met your mom. He gonna say, oh, well, pretty sure it was at my proposal because I told him. And she was like, he was trying to explain to him, yeah, this is such and such. No, I don't remember. I know y'all, you had your friends, you had your best friends over, you had parties and this, that, and the other. I would always hear him talk. Oh, my mom, she's on her way. My mom, she's upstairs. My mom is this. My mom is that. Never met his mom. So I don't know if it's this case to where they're looking at the simple fact we've never really met this individual, because your son or daughter can have a best friend that you don't know. Or they can have a best friend that you don't know of. You can have multiple best friends. You truly do. Truly do. And friends, and I know it sucks to even say this, but you having a best friend, they know more so about what's going on with you than your parents do. So them saying, oh, well, just because you parked your truck here doesn't mean, yes, it truly means that. Truly means that. Trust and believe. I've done it. I've definitely done it. It took me a while to actually even know a lot of, I got two other best friends. I keep my circle small. Well, not two other. I call them my brothers, but keep my circle real small. But their parents, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I know the other parents, but yeah, when it comes to my boy Dre, I literally, big shout out to Dre and Nate on their proposal as well. I literally, when I tell y'all, I just don't get how this ended out. It's one thing of them actually not knowing, or it's one thing of them actually knowing, but they're not saying that because they're not trying to backtrack on the lie that they already created. You know what I mean? Truly. You have it right here. This is Officer Tatum. He's speaking on, Ben Crump, and as well as Nolan's parents. Check it out right here.
Multiple times. And he also gave Nolan a ride to school on multiple occasions. So it's very confusing. I don't know why a young man would say that he's friends and literally be emotional when he talked about Nolan. I mean, he literally cried and teared up off camera. And I felt like it was very genuine. And for the parents to say that they don't know him at all and won't even consider the fact that he believed he was friends with Nolan, it's very shocking to me. And I don't know if they're being genuine, because you don't always know your children's friends,
right?
Or are they still trying to hold on to this agenda that no one who disagrees with the narrative of racism can possibly be associated with them, because it destroys their money. Well, I'm not saying the parents' money grift, but Benjamin Crump's money grift.
Yeah, I mean, we heard from Nolan's parents, and of course his mother. Any parent would want to know what happened, and she expressed that. But there are motives with Ben Crump and his history. There are lawsuits now suing his friends and social media companies fueled by Ben Crump. Do you think that he's helping this family or hurting them in their quest for answers?
Well, Katie, I think he's destroying the reputation of this family, and also hurting this investigation. The fact that he put out the autopsy prematurely when law enforcement didn't even put out the autopsy it can convolute the investigation, because now when you interview witnesses, you don't know if they are saying things because they saw it on television, or have they genuinely had an experience only they would have if they were actually there at the scene. And then also, I want to believe his mother. I don't have any reason necessarily, because I don't know her personally, to believe.
But I feel like I've also wanted to believe his mother, but at the same time, it feels like she's going in the wrong direction with what Ben Crump as well as Al Sharpton is putting out.
She would just lie. But when I look at the facts, why wouldn't she communicate with with Warren and their family? They showed me text messages. They showed me phone calls where they called and reached out to her. And if I personally want to know what happened to my child, the first person I'm going to talk to is the people who last saw him alive. I don't understand why they take the position of saying it's us versus y'all. And now you want to subpoena phones and do things like that, which are going to take, I don't know, months for it to come out. And they may not even be granted. I mean, you got to think Nolan was an adult. He wasn't a kid. So some of these social media platforms may not even grant them access to his account if they don't have somewhat of a legal search warrant. So I just wish that they would have come together as a community and got to the bottom of this, got information, and then shared it to the public instead of, making it a divisive thing up front.
Yeah. Brandon, we're still waiting on the toxicology report, but from interviews with Nolan's friends, we do know that drinking heavily was involved, and that Nolan was drinking. And you have on good authority that drugs potentially could have been involved as well. You also visited the island. Just what are your takeaways from what we know about the conditions there and the status of the investigation?
Well, at this point, and I always encourage people to wait until the full investigation is out before you make a conclusion or a determination of whether somebody's guilty or not. Going out to Horn Island was very revealing to me because the initial statements from people who are talking about this, especially the Nolan Wells family, that they were acting as if they just dropped Nolan off at an abandoned island where no one was around to watch him get murdered or something. And then now you go and look at it and you go, well, no, there was tons of people there. That gives me encouragement that somebody saw what happens. But it also proves in many ways that they didn't just abandon him as if he was a little kid on the island by himself. So seeing the island going.
But it's also like within all of that water, people got to think too, like within all of that water, just imagine like somebody that's been drinking or they saying, on drugs or something like that, because that's what, obviously what was said within things and friends. Say he he was swimming alone or he was alone somewhere. He went here because of that or this, that, and other. And something, I feel like there's so many things that could have happened within that. Whether somebody seen some, whether somebody did some, or if it was a drowning and just a drowning, I don't know. I truly don't know.
In there gave me
that's a lot of water
about what happened.
Well, certainly injecting race, and we don't have all the facts either, is not helpful. And we will continue to watch this. Brandon Tatum, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your accounting of it.
Okay, thank you for having me on.
Good to see you.
So I see exactly what they're saying, but at the same time, I don't know. I just find a lot of it, very much so. I don't know. A lot of y'all are asking, okay, well, what do you mean, he was drinking, or what do you mean, this, that, and the other. This right here, and this is another post by Brandon Tatum, said, I've been told by reliable resources that heavy drinking and cocaine allegedly played a role in Nolan Wells' death. Toxicology results will ultimately determine whether those claims hold up. So he has been getting DMs. He has been getting messages of this report. Check it out.
To think that nobody saw it when they're entangled within all these people, I think is a disservice. We need to get to the information that I heard. We'll get to Miss Rachel and her silly self. And Judge Mathis. We'll get to Judge Mathis. But what I was told, and you guys, please take in consideration that it's reliable sources. However, the only way to prove the truth in this is if I see it with my own eyes, if the law enforcement have the investigation of this, and also when the toxicology results come out. But people are messaging me and telling me that there is heavy drinking and there's cocaine involved. And there's a particular person whom I know this person's name. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm going to go to the police first. And then I will disclose it if it doesn't interfere in the investigation. But this person allegedly was offering people cocaine, and someone close to Nolan, one of his friends, told me that this person was offered cocaine and rejected it from this person. And I was also told, and this person told me that it's over 100% chance that Nolan was using cocaine during this period of time. This person said it was 150% sure that when the toxicology comes back, that Nolan will have cocaine in his system.
So if that comes down to it, y'all gotta think with that water being on the water, you drinking and you having cocaine in your system. It can be a possibility. Have anybody think that it could be a possibility of any type of overdose or anything of that sort, or any type, I'm just being 100. Like, I feel like there's so many things that could have happened within this. But hey, says right here, this is from Reverend Wells Jordan. Says Warren Hudson, who called himself the best friend of 18-year-old college football star Nolan Wells, reveals he skipped a funeral after receiving thousands of death threats. Speaking to Austin Tatum's podcast with Brandon Tatum, Hudson shared that he and his family are living in fear, dealing with constant online attacks and serious safety concerns following Nolan's tragic disappearance and passing. Now, I definitely want to say that definitely prayers go out to these families that are dealing within this. It's truly sickening that you have so many individuals that truly just are like this. You have so many individuals that truly just goes to show you how sick, they truly are. It's definitely sick. I hate it for them. Prayers go out, to everybody, within this case. It is a sad situation. But one thing about it, I'm going to try my best to stay on top of it and try to find more and more as days go on. Make sure you hit the like button. Much love to everybody. I definitely want to say that. Much love. And I thank y'all for so much that y'all do. Hit that like button for me. Hit that subscribe button. Catch y'all next one.